All right, call our meeting to order. Thank everyone for coming this evening. Hope everybody had a good holiday last week, and we had a lot to be thankful for, and I'm sure that we'll continue to be blessed, and we should do all we can to help those that are much less fortunate than we are. So we just ask God's grace upon us in the days to come. At this time, I will offer an invocation, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll move on through the agenda. Heavenly Father, we thank you, as we have already mentioned, the Thanksgiving holiday that we celebrated, and we just acknowledge your presence amongst us and the ways that you help us each and every day. And we know that you're there, even though sometimes we do not reach out to you. But we know that anytime that we need guidance and help, if we look to you, it will certainly be lifted up to us. Father, we pray for our country. We pray that those of us that have different views and ideas, that we can sit down and be civil about the different opinions that we have, and that everyone can enjoy the fruits of this wonderful country. Lift all these up in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item 3 is the adoption of the business agenda. Everybody's had an opportunity to review the information. We would need a motion to approve it as it is presented, or if there's any changes or conflicts in it, we need to bring those at this time.
Make a motion to adopt the business agenda as stated.
Okay, motion by Councilman Bell, and was that you, Rick? Second by Mr. Steinbach. Is there any more discussion on the agenda? If there is none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The agenda would be adopted as it is presented. Next, we have the honor of having our Superior Court Judge, Ms. Brenda Branch, here to do the ceremony for the installation of the re-elected council members. And I believe that the clerk told me that I needed to go first. Is that correct?
Mayor Dowdy, good evening. Thank you. And to your board members, Attorney Davis, your chairperson, and to your city manager, thank you for having me here. And I always appreciate taking part in this event. So thank you. That's Lance. You will place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right. If you want to step back, just to get this cement. All right. Now, would you like to repeat after me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I,
Henry G. Dowdy,
Emory G. Dowdy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
and maintain the Constitution
and maintain the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States,
and the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws of North Carolina,
and the laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
therewith,
therewith,
and that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
discharge the duties of my office
discharge the duties of my office
as mayor of the city of Roanoke,
as mayor of the city of Roanoke Rapids,
on which I am about to enter,
on which I am about to enter
according to my best skills
according to my best skill
and ability.
and abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. So excited for you to get started again. Okay, she's asked that Councilman Jackson. that I will support
that I will support
and maintain the Constitution
and maintain the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and laws of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and laws of North Carolina,
and the laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
therewith,
therewith,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will
again, thank you all for letting me participate. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 5, we will need to, at this time, elect a mayor pro tem. We need some nominations for this office.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Mayor Pro Tem Bryant for another term.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Stainback. Do we hear a second to the
Second.
motion? Second by Mr. Bell. Are there any other nominations that need to come before us? Is there any more discussion on this motion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion will be approved, and you will be the mayor pro tem. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, fellow councilmen, for your support in this for another year. I appreciate it.
Lauren's trying a new phone out, I think. Will you excuse me just a minute, because I got to make sure she's where she needs to be. My apologies. Item 6 is public comment. Mr. McDaniel is signed up for unscheduled public comment. Mr. McDaniel?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry McDaniel. I live at 701 Carolina Street, and I'd like to congratulate all those who won re-election and that election. I wanted to bring up something that I think is being brought up in the county this evening, but I couldn't make it back because I didn't want to miss this. Is anybody going to be surprised when they find out that Roanoke Rapids has nothing to do with the Roanoke River and that every drop of water in it belongs to Northampton County? They're trying to get an environmental project going in the county, and I'm just wondering if that's going to surprise anybody. If Northampton County river floods Roanoke Rapids, it's just something I want you to entertain, and if you have an answer for it, I'd certainly like to hear it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. McDaniel. Item 7 is the November 18th regular meeting minutes. We would need a motion to approve them when somebody's ready to make that motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the November 18th, 2025 regular city council minutes as drafted.
Okay, the motion is by Mr. Strickland, second by Mr. Jackson. Is there any more discussion on the matter? If there is none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion will be approved. I call on the city manager for a budget ordinance for the police department.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The next two items of business are budget amendments for the city to receive money into our fiscal year 26 operating budget. The first ordinance is for donations that were made to the police department. Two $500 donations totaling $1,000 were submitted, and in order to receive that money for incorporation into the budget, ordinance number 2025.39 has been prepared for your consideration and approval as requested by staff. Unless you have any questions, ask for a motion on the action on the ordinance.
All the questions, the city manager said we need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt budget ordinance 2025.39 in the amount of $1,000 for two donations to the Roanoke Rapids Police Department.
Okay, the motion is by Mr. Jackson,
Second.
second by Ms. Bryant. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion will be approved. Next item B.
Yes, sir. Item B is ordinance number 2025.40 that has been prepared for your review and consideration. This is for the for the police department to receive unauthorized substance abuse tax funds in the amount of $2,566.02. In order to receive those funds into our budget for fiscal year 26, adoption of the ordinance 2025.40 is necessary. Unless you have any questions, just ask for a motion for the approving action.
Call for a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt budget ordinance number 2025.40 in the amount of $2,566.02 for OSC unauthorized substance tax.
Second.
Okay, the motion is by Mayor Pro Tem Bryant and a second by Councilman Bell. Any more discussion on this matter? If there is none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion will be approved. And item C.
Item C before you tonight is to have a discussion and consideration of the 2026 Halifax County Intergovernmental Association, or HCIA, legislative goals for the section for the city of Roanoke Rapids. Each year, we're asked to present some legislative goals that represent some of the needs of the city. Typically, they've been more aspirational or high level. The copy of the goals is enclosed in your packet from the last submittal a year ago. To bring to your attention, there's one page that has common legislative goals at the top. Those apply to the countywide, those are supposed to be applied countywide and to the municipalities, and so we do not want to duplicate these in the city's goals. And so many of these do address some of the needs that we have here and experience as well. In your packet as well, the county government's goals are attached, as well as for the municipal governments. The City of Roanoke Rapids is on the last page of that. Our goals in the past have focused on revitalization, transportation, housing, some revenue flexibilities, and economic development support. After review of these, and unfortunately due to the Thanksgiving holiday, I kind of ran out of time, but in review of these, I would like to recommend that we give some more specific considerations to our local needs, as far as I'd like to see us make them more specific rather than as generic as they have been. I think what we have on here are good goals, but they don't quite capture the need of Roanoke Rapids specifically. Some of the things that I think we could also address in our goals, and like to make a recommendation as far as under like fiscal responsibility and sustainability, coming out and suggesting in our legislative, in the legislative goals, to ask for support from the state for unfunded mandates, and to ask for things that, ask them to consider funding things, or ask them to consider the requirement of a mandate if they're going to take away the funding source. Some other things like disaster relief, these minor storms that they may not be a declared state emergency, but several minor, when I say minor storm, but it could knock out the power here for a couple hours or more, but we have several of those, and just the recovery efforts, even the cost to haul away vegetative debris is expensive and isn't sustainable in the long run, and so I feel like we could get some more specific requests. Another recommendation would be to support legislation that could revise the Senate Bill 382 that prohibits downzoning of residential property. The Senate bill became law about a year or so ago, and it places some restrictions on the city's ability to process and approve rezonings without some significant steps involved in that as well. And so that's a recommendation there from staff. And then also for protecting our extraterritorial jurisdictions, it seems like that comes up frequently over the years with the General Assembly, talks about doing away with the ETJ jurisdiction altogether. We recommend maintaining that. And then also, one of my final recommendations here for right now would be to have a statement in there about the local government employee retirement system pension reform. Between fiscal year 2013 and fiscal year 2025, the employer's contribution rate doubled, or more than doubled, over that time period. And so as we go to do our annual budgeting, we're looking to the state to tell us what to budget for in the employee's retirement rate. And so there are some proposals that are out there that could really significantly increase the city's burden in that contribution. And so we feel like we need to, I recommend that we have some statements in there that would encourage some sustainability and limit the annual increases to something that would be more manageable. Those are a few recommendations that I have at this time, and like to open the discussion to the council members and see what directions or any other thoughts and ideas that you all may have.
I could see definitely one with the retirement system. As far as like to educate the public, when it comes to the retirement system, as we gradually looked at the last 12 years, regardless of what part of the state government you're in, and local, that, I can give you an example. The teachers' retirement system in the central government used to be about 12 years ago, it was maybe, I think they had to put in, the employee had to put in like 6.75%. I think that's still about the same. But then when you start to look at it, at that time, the state was only putting in something like about 7 point something. I mean, the employees were. State put in the rest of it. They put in the other about 82%. Now, the employer still puts in 6.75%, but the state puts in, the employer, say for us, our numbers now probably running around about 16%, something like that. In some places are higher. And the state is only putting in right at about, maybe about 72%. And as they push further, every year, I know over the last 6 or 7 years, that every year they'll add maybe like 0.5% or whatever. And as the city managers have said, we're going to have to sit down and take some serious looks at this and put this in our plan to start talking to the state about, stopping where they're at, to freezing it. Because every time something, it's like they say, when the federal government gets a cold, we get pneumonia. And so we're going to have to start looking at things like that seriously, because it'll be here before you know it. And as far as the storm, we saw this past year what happened, all the man hours that we had to put in when that storm came through earlier this year. Now that was a minor one. As you remember the storm that we had back there about 1988, that was a serious one for those that are old enough to remember that, because we had places in outlying county in the area, which also had some in the edge of town. Some people probably didn't get electricity back for a week and something. And that was because of having to clean up debris and all that other stuff. So I definitely agree with that. You're dead on point with those recommendations.
Thank you.
Any action on that tonight? We need a motion on it.
It's up to the council. If there's any further discussion, or if you want to, I think we put in here, rather than having the council verbatim approve the goals, then you could, I guess the requested action we have included was to direct the city manager to draft and submit the goals, the updated goals, to HCIA. And I can send those to you all to review prior to submittal for any wordsmithing, or to make sure we have captured the essence of what the council would like to see. So if there's any other comments or suggestions or input, we'd be glad to.
Does anybody have
take
any
that.
questions of the manager? So that being said, can we do a consensus, or do we need a motion?
I would just say,
direct
we'll just do the motion to direct the city manager to draft and submit the goals.
I would say too, this is the time where if council has any feelings about other priorities that they would like to see the city manager incorporate, I know she's going to be sending it to you for you guys to review and get back and give her feedback on, but it may be easier if there's anything in your minds that you want to kind of give her now, so that she can kind of incorporate that in the initial drafting process. Is that?
And when I added about specifics, like things about community revitalization, one of the things I'd like to include in here are for demolition of these unsafe buildings, because that is a critical need that we have in trying to get some support for that, because we're not the only municipality that's experiencing these the situations where you have decaying older buildings and owners that are unable to follow through on making them safer. And so I think we'll have to get very specific about the properties that we have orders on at this point, and ask the state for some support on that specifically.
That was the one for Senate Bill 380.
No, that's for zoning decisions or rezoning decisions. But this would be for like community revitalization and public safety, as far as building removal.
Definitely, I think that needs to be addressed.
Okay, y'all want to do that in form of a motion to her?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to direct the city manager to draft and submit the city's HCIA legislative goals.
Okay, the motion is by Councilman
Second.
Jackson, seconded by Councilman Bell. Any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion will be approved. The next item, the city manager has that also, her report.
Okay. I'm going to keep this brief tonight. I've also asked our Main Street Director, Ashley, to share a few things about our upcoming weekend events, but we just finished up Thanksgiving, of course, and Christmas is our next holiday we'll recognize, and city services, our offices will be closed Wednesday through Friday of that week, so the 24th through the 26th. This upcoming weekend, we have several activities that staff are busy preparing for, starting with Christmas on the Avenue on Friday at 5 from 6 until 9. On Saturday, Saturday the 6th from 10 until 12 at the Canal Museum. They'll have Christmas at the Canal and Pictures with Santa. On Sunday at 2 p.m. we'll have our annual Christmas parade. And then also on the books is the Grinchy Christmas party at the library, scheduled on Tuesday the 16th, so just before our next council meeting at 4 o'clock until 5:30. The Benevolent Awards Recognition Committee, or called BARC by its acronym, is the employee-funded annual Christmas luncheon and employee service awards will be held on Wednesday the 10th at Kirkwood. This year's Parade Grand Marshal was announced on November the 20th on the radio, and Lori Medlin, the President and CEO of Halifax County Convention and Visitors Bureau, has been recognized as this year's Grand Marshal and will represent tourism and all of the activities and the special events that they have coming up in the next year to kick off the America and Halifax 250. During our last meeting, I reported that the Public Works would be conducting a street light outage survey throughout the city, and that was done on November the 19th, and they found about 200 issues to report to Dominion and to Roanoke Electric. The majority went to Dominion, but this was anything from a power light that was completely out, or one that's flickering, one that's always on, or if they have any issues. And just as a reminder to so people know that if you see any issues with a pole, you could always report it, but if you can, try to observe the identification number on it, or give a good description of it. If you want to call Public Works and report that, we'll convey those to the electrical provider. The Public Works will also engage in a pavement conditions survey with the vendor, and they will be doing an analysis of all of our streets and doing a grade and rank of them as far as the conditions of them, and set forth a schedule for repaving. We feel like this will be this will be a good thing to have in place, so that when funding for street repaving can be established, that we'll have a list of streets that's been engineered and ready to go as part of that process. Did you want to share a few things?
The last time we did some paving, because I thought they were picking out the streets and the sections of the streets that were in most dire need. We didn't have that done?
We haven't had a formal engineered plan done yet, but this is done through, we talked about, we might have discussed it in budgeting, that this is what we were going to do, but we're kicking off that project now. And then as far as, so unless y'all have any questions, I'll ask Ashley to share some things. She's been working on the Christmas on the Avenue, especially with the 1026 events that are taking place as well.
We are certainly very excited. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I wanted to give you an update. With Christmas on the Avenue, it's coming up this Friday, weather withstanding. Our 1026 space, there are many things. I believe you have Yes, the flyer that was shared with you. From 5:30 to 9 p.m., there will be a number of different things happening. We'll have a free hot cocoa bar, snow machines with snow falling all night long. We have some giveaways. There'll be music, and then you also see there that we'll be having performances by a pianist, a high school band, choir, and then even a dance school is going to come out. But I also want to share with you all that there has been some preparation beforehand from some of our young people in the community. Halifax 4-H, under the tutelage of Stephanie Proctor, who works with Extension, about 20 students and parents came out to help do a mini refresh of the planters on Roanoke Avenue. And so what they were able to do was cut back some of the dead plants. Also, they picked, it was quite a bit of litter that they were able to take out. We did also consult with master gardeners Kathy Rennell and Doug Love concerning doing some planting for the planters, but we have been advised that it would be best to get through the season and then do a full refresh in the spring. So I'd like for you to save the date also, April 22nd, Earth Day, little plug there. It'd be great to see you all come out, and if you bring your gloves, or I can provide gloves. Okay, so we have that, and then I also want to share with you all about the KIPP middle school students. They also came out and they did some artwork on windows on Roanoke Avenue to spruce up some of the buildings that don't currently have any business occupants, and so I'd like to just share that. Those festive designs, and then also a quick little shout out to some of our businesses. And this is because our preparations and community support have truly been very, very strong. As an advisory committee, the Main Street Advisory Committee, as a city-run program, we aren't allowed to accept money. However, we can accept donations of things. And so we've been getting things. So Walmart was able to provide soil that went into some of those planters. McDonald's helped with some squeegees to help the kids clean off the windows. Let's see, I have more here. We have poinsettias that were given to us. The hot cocoa bar is courtesy of the Lake Gaston Regional Chamber. The snow machines that will have that snow are courtesy of ServPro. And I think it's just really important to mention these organizations that out of their own desire have stepped up to assist, and I want to share that with you all. And also Roanoke Valley Rescue Squad, they will be providing a light tower to go over at the 1026 space to make sure everything is nice, safe, and secure and well lit. And that's what I have for you all. Anything else for the good of the order? There's a hayride that will transport folks back and forth from both locations, from Centennial over to the 1026 space, but we certainly hope to see you there. And unless you have any questions, I thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
And I'd just like to just add on here as the last thing that the weather is looking a little iffy on Friday. Looks like there's some rain in the forecast, but for right now, we're planning to have the events, rain or shine at this point, but any decision that would be made in the best interest of public safety. But traditionally, we try to wait until the last minute, or we may have to, we'll just to see what the weather's like, but we do understand people will have to make decisions based on their own safety and preferences as well. But ultimately, we want everyone to have a safe and memorable event, something that they can enjoy and talk about and make special memories for the Christmas season.
Okay, anybody have anything else that needs to come before us this evening? If not, we'll call for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion was by Mr. Bell and second by Mr. Steinbach. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. We adjourn.